Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Today I would like to share with you how to create this game of life with AngularJS. As you can see, it randomly starts and it also has some buttons like start, stop and clear and the generations. This game is from FreeCodeCamp. There are several user cases or user stories, and you'll see how we'll complete each one of these. There is also a Wikipedia link that gives you all the instructions and the rules. There are several rules, and actually it took me 1 or 2 days to read and understand everything, so then I will be able to code it. I'm not gonna get into a lot of details about the rules right now, but you will see me later that we will discuss some of them. Now I'm only using AngularJS and not Bootstrap as I usually do, and I will create this project in Codepen. I will leave in the description box the code for the Codepen, and also I will share it on GitHub too. So if you can't see very clear what am I typing, or if you want to reread it, you can also search it in my Codepen or in GitHub. I will create writing the HTML, and I've already written the div ng app game of life and ng controller game of life controller. Then I'm going to start writing a table, and inside there I'm going to have an ng repeat, row in rows, and after that an ng click. And the ng click will be activate, which will be a class, and it will have a parameter rows dot index of row and index. Continue with an ng repeat, call in row.calls, call is for column, and last but not least include an ng class. I will name my variable board, call.active equals 1, and call and old column.active greater than 1. And that is my table. You won't be able to see it right now. We will first have to write some CSS code and then some JavaScript code to give it some functionality. Alright, I think now we are good with the table. Yes, so let's keep going with the buttons. First I'm going to write class components that we will style later in the CSS, and then for the 3 buttons I'm going to create an ng click, and inside there I'm going to have a function. The first one will be stop with the name stop, another one will be start with the parameter false, and the third button will be clear with the name clear. And another one thing that you're going to need is the generation, and just give it a parameter generations. Alright, we are done with the HTML, and let's go to CSS. We're not going to write a lot of things, just the basics, and of course then you can style it however you like it. We're going to have a table, and THTT with border 1 pixel solid black, and border collapse will be collapse. Then the table, I'm going to give it a margin auto, and in this way it will be in the center of our screen. You can add a background color, in my case will be white smoke, but you can adjust it to your preferences. I'm also going to continue with the TT, and I'm going to give a width and a height. right, just give the class new a background color of orange, and then the old the background color of orange shades. I think my last class will be components, and it's about the buttons and the generation. I'm just going to give the basic stylings, and now you are ready to focus on the JavaScript. So the JavaScript here is going to be a little bit longer than it usually is, at least in the other FreeCodeCamp challenges, because here there are many rules. I'm going to just read some of the tools from Wikipedia. The game of life is made by Conway, who is a mathematician. So let me give you a short description of what is that we are building right now. So far I created the grids with rows and columns, and now I would like to mention that any live cell with fewer than 2 live neighbors dies as if it caused by underpopulation. 2. Any live cell with 2 or 3 live neighbors lives in the next generation. 3. Any live cell with more than 3 live neighbors dies as if by overpopulation. And 4. Any dead cell with exactly 3 live neighbors becomes a live cell as if by reproduction. The initial pattern constitutes the seed of the system. The first generation is created by applying the above rule simultaneously to every cell in the seed. Births and deaths occur simultaneously, and the discrete moment at which this happens is sometimes called a tick. The rules continue to be applied repeatedly to create further generations. If you search over the internet, you will see that there are a couple of algorithms that can describe what we are trying to do here in JavaScript, and it will be very helpful to take a look at some of these algorithms. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, it took me a lot of hours to understand every rule and then figure out how exactly I was going to write them. Alright. Some basic things about Angular 2. The ng app that we used in the HTML is a directive that tells AngularJS that this is the root element of the application, and all Angular applications must have a root element. Then the controller directive defines the controller, of course. So let's focus now clearly on the JavaScript part. We're generating the seeds, which means that we're going to create a function with the name random seeds. Inside there I'm going to have a for loop. var I equals 0, I smaller than row max, call max, divided by 2, and I plus plus. Inside there I'm going to have another variable with the name row, and now I'm going to have a math.floor, math.random, and row max minus 1. I'm going to do the same for columns. Okay, I started writing the function counts live neighbors. Once again, the name will be check neighbors. The function will have 2 parameters, row and call. I'm going to have a variable count equals 0, then a for loop with var I equals row minus 1 and I row plus 1, I plus plus. Another for loop with the j for columns, and inside there I'm going to have an if statement. If I is different than row or j is different than column, and scope.rows I plus and scope.rows I dot calls j, then I'm going to need another if statement. Let me write everything here correctly, and I'm going to continue with the if statement. Alright, now you can see also the grid system. So if scope.rows I dot calls j dot active is greater or equal than 1, then count plus plus. And in the end, you'll wanna to return your count variable. Alright, I'm just checking to make sure everything works fine, and I think that it's great. So now I'm going to continue with some other functions. Alright, scope.stopGame equals function, and then inside there the only thing I want is the interval.cancel interval. Alright, that looks good, I don't need anything else, and let's continue with the activate. Scope.activate equals function, and in the parentheses write row and call. Scope.rows row.calls call.active equals 1. And we are ready with this function also. Now, var interval scope.startGame equals function random. So now we'll start writing our random function, which is really important. Maybe it's the most important function of this game. Scope.generation equals 0 if random seeds, and random seeds is another function. So interval equals $interval function and open brackets. Inside these brackets we're going to have scope dot generation plus plus, and then we need 2 for loops. The first one will be for the rows, and the next one of course for columns. Adjust your parameters. Alright, and inside there we're going to have a variable, another variable. I'm sorry for this. So var no of neighbors equals check neighbors ij, and then scope.rows I.calls j dot neighbors equals no of neighbors. Alright, we will continue one more time with 2 more for loops. The parameters here are the same as above, so you can just copy and paste them. And of course we will have some if statements. In the first if statement you will need $scope.rows I.calls j .active greater of 1, and inside there open your brackets again and write if scope.rows I dot calls j dot neighbors is greater or equal to 4, or scope dot rows I dot calls j dot neighbors is smaller than 1. Then open brackets and write once again scope dot rows I dot calls j dot active equals 0. Now you need an else statement. Scope dot rows I dot calls j dot active plus plus, and another else statement which will include an if statement, and it will be scope dot rows I calls j neighbors equals 3, and scope dot rows I dot calls j dot active equals 1. Alright, now I'm going to finish this function, and then we'll find the mistake that I think I know where it is, but let's just be sure. It must be a bracket that I forgot to close. Let me check it. Yes, here it is. The else statement should have also brackets that I forgot to read. Great. Now let's continue with the start game. In the HTML code, we write the start with the parameter false, but now I'm going to do it scope.start equals true, and then I'm going to have the clear function. So we will need once again 2 for loops with our usual parameters of columns and of rows and columns. And inside there, just write scope dot rows I dot calls j dot active equals 0. Alright. And that's it, guys. I hope that you like this game, and I know that the rules are quite complicated. That's why I mentioned that you should go to Wikipedia or to any other website and search for the algorithm, some code or some examples. Try to play this game, and this will help you to better understand it. So now we can see the generation. We can use the board, we can click on it. Then we have the 3 buttons, the clear one that it clears everything, and of course you can refresh the website and see one more time how this game is. Thank you very much for watching, have a great day, and if you like this video, please share and subscribe. Thank you very much.